Hello, I'm Mark Can, CEO and co-CTO of CryomatiKs Product Development. In this video, we're going to discuss using the air that we all breathe every day to help create a global energy network that's 100% zero emissions. And so first of all, you have to do a little background on what exactly is a global energy vector. And the short version is energy vectors would allow you to transfer a certain quantity of energy. And the reason that energy vectors create so much value for our society is because the energy can be transferred from where it's available to where it's needed. And our entire society is literally based on energy vectors. So let's talk about all the advantages of using the atmospheric air as the basis of a global energy vector. So let's start with some of the obvious ones. Air is available everywhere. There's no scarcity issues. It cannot be controlled. It's so abundant that the air is free. It's non-toxic. There's no rare earth metals that are required. And the process of converting the air into a liquid also purifies the air in real time. And it also opens up the opportunity to do real-time carbon capture. Now, the great thing is there's already an existing global supply chain for the equipment that's used to condense the air into a liquid. And the power source that's required to liquefy the air can be from wind and solar. And our technology is able to power EVs, which means we're able to do wind to wheels and sun to wheels 100% zero emission. And because the air is in a liquid form, it allows you to transfer this energy to wherever it's needed. That's a 100% global energy network. Just a real quick introduction to the process. You have to start with the power source. The reason liquid air is considered a form of energy storage is because it requires energy to liquefy the air in the first place. And then most of that energy is recovered at a later point in time. So you start with the energy source. The air is then cleaned, compressed, and expanded. And that expansion is what allows the air to be chilled into a liquid. And then once it's in a liquid, that completely changes everything, because now it can be stored, it can be distributed. And then our specialty is the proprietary designs that helps convert that liquid air back into valuable work, whether it's powering vehicles, whether it's portable generators. We also can do air conditioning, refrigeration, as well as atmospheric water generation. Now, following up on the process of being a liquid, the great thing is there's already a global large-scale infrastructure in place that we can tap right into. And there are dozens of decommissioned LNG tankers all around the globe that are able to store and transport extremely large quantities of liquid air to wherever that energy is needed the most. And about 50% of the world's population lives within a few hundred miles of the coastal areas. So you can address billions and billions of people. Now, we do have a license for a proprietary floating wind farm. So we have a separate video that kind of gets into the details in that. You might want to check out onto it. But the LNG tankers are able to load and unload directly from these floating wind farms and then deliver to existing ports. For the areas that do not have port access, you can do solar farms. That becomes your power input source. You're able to capture a large quantity of clean electricity and then deliver that electricity to the most densely populated areas on the planet. And so once again, we are tapping into this existing global infrastructure. So we actually complement and supplement the existing infrastructure. And the value that's created for the markets is you have large quantities of electricity that's available when you need it. We do have to be able to create high-grade air conditioning refrigeration. And right now, over 10% of all the electricity that's consumed in the world goes towards refrigeration or air conditioning. And that number's going up dramatically. So we're trying to stay ahead of the curve as far as addressing the demand for high-grade air conditioning and refrigeration. We're also able to use the liquid air as a fuel for transportation. That's actually one of our specialties, is transportation. And we'll get into the details on that next. And then once again, when you clean the air, you actually purify the air in real time. That's going to benefit everybody. Now, The reason that we create so much value in the transportation industry is because our technology allows air liquefaction facilities to function at the equivalent of an oil refinery that has free oil and creates no emissions. 100% zero emission with essentially the equivalent of free oil that you can never run out of. It's an endless cycle and infinitely scalable, right? And the only thing that's required is the free abundant air, your power source, and components that are available from an existing global supply chain. That's it. Now, up to 90% of the production cost of liquid air is tied to your power source. And fortunately, the cost of generating electricity is getting lower and lower and lower every single year. And there's more and more sources that are becoming available. Now, there's multiple advantages to the adoption of our technology in the transportation sector. But two of the important ones are we're able to scale 10 times the number of vehicles for the same battery capacity. And we're also able to store energy onboard the vehicle for up to 20 times less than conventional lithium-ion batteries. The cost to mass produce the onboard storage tanks for liquid air can be 20 times less than the equivalent of battery storage. And our range extender design is really a modular solution that we're covering the largest possible markets. So basically from 1 kilowatt to 1 megawatt. And it is a modular solution. What that means is that, for example, the 1 megawatt would actually be multiple lower power units that are parallel together. But we're able to use the mass production of common components over and over and over again to drive down the cost across the board. And that allows us to address the use cases that have both the highest consumption of fuel and the highest production quantity on an annual basis. The extremely low onboard energy costs we mentioned before opens the door for multiple high-value energy-related services. For example, mobile on-demand quick charging. That means that you can have mobile quick charging right at your office, right at your home, wherever you're located, it comes directly to you. For the markets that are supporting hydrogen in their transportation sector, you can do emergency on-demand hydrogen. For the markets that have our zero-emission range extender, it means just-in-time delivery of liquid air for the range extenders. So literally, the vehicles are automatically refueled. Another benefit of the low energy cost is it enables what we refer to as pop-up refueling / recharging stations. And what this means is that rather than having to wait for the grid infrastructure to be built out in order to support quick charging, we literally can go in with these portable quick charging stations and locate them at the busiest locations, these busy retail locations that have the highest demand for quick charging. And we can do it completely independent of the grid. And once again, we can provide very valuable quick charging services at a much lower cost than what's been available before in the past. And what we're able to do is we're actually able to scale with demand. So because these units are modular and they're portable, as demand increases, you're able to locate them in the regions that have the most demand. Everything that we do is enabled by wireless connectivity, and that allows us to get all sorts of real-time feedback. So we know the performance of the systems, we know exactly the locations that have the highest demand, the times of day, everything that you need in order to optimize the service. And so literally every single thing that we do has some form of connectivity built into it. That way we have some real-time feedback that we're able to interact with users in real time. And to highlight some of the unique features of liquid air combined with our technology relative to other immersion technologies, once again, there's no rare earth metals required at all. You can scale infinitely. There is no limitation to the scalability of the platform and the system whatsoever. And there's unlimited number of cycles. You cannot run out of the air or the number of times that the air can be cooled and then expanded back into a gas. It is literally unlimited. There is no limitation to it whatsoever. If you watch the video on the reverse heat engines, then we discussed the ability to provide electricity, refrigeration, air conditioning, as well as atmospheric water generation. So I recommend watching that video for more details on that. And again, this is modular and scalable, which we literally take the same design and we use it over and over and over again. We're able to use this to tap into manufacturing methods that traditionally haven't been used before for these types of use cases. And once again, the all-important, it's a liquid. And because it's a liquid, we can do things like refuel in 5 minutes. So quick recharging is very difficult on local grid infrastructure. And because we have a liquid, we're able to do the equivalent of charging at several megawatts. And we're able to do it very, very simply without putting any strain on the local grid whatsoever. We're targeting sectors of the global economy that have the biggest demand for zero emission solutions. So specifically industrial, commercial, and transportation. There will be some additional solutions for other industries, but we're really going after the ones that have both the highest consumption as well as the highest increase in use. And we're definitely trying to maximize the power sources that are available, whether it's solar, whether that's wind, or it's some of the other thermal sources that are available. So whenever you have infinite scalability, the natural follow-up question is going to be, well, how exactly are you going to produce enough to supply for that infinite scalability? And fortunately, we have many options for large-scale production of liquid air. So we are a licensee of a proprietary floating wind platform, which, again, we have a separate video on that if you want to see the details on that. There's also existing LNG gasification facilities all around the globe. We're able to capture waste coal fuels facilities, convert it into liquid air. Solar farms continue to offer some of the lowest prices on the planet. And then we also have thermal energy, which we're not going to get into the details of thermal energy in this particular video, but essentially there's an unlimited quantity of thermal energy that can be used to convert an unlimited quantity of liquid air. So we're going to get into details on that to a different video. Feel free to contact us at our office number, which is 1-321-328-0850. We are based out of Florida, and you can always reach us at contact@CryomatiKs.com. And you can check on updates at it'sjustair.info. Thanks.